all, welcome back to this channel. This is a video that has the title of 8,000 kilometers in 100 days. The actual purpose and the reason why I'm making this video, as you can see the video has already started playing in the background, is a kind of a memory that flashes back when I started these trips way back towards the last few days of September, then October, November and December. So exactly in the period of 100 days, I completed 8,000 kilometers. And the fantastic thing was that I did this all on a scooter, that's an Activa. There were some rides that were solo, some that were with a few friends, and there were some family trips as well. But all the trips were done on bike by me itself. Now I've put together a couple of videos of most of the trips within these 8,000 kilometers. When I say most, because there are some trips where I've not taken any videos because of heavy rain and other reasons. But this will give you a brief idea as to how I've done the 8,000 kilometers on this scooter, that's the Activa. Because there are captions of the places that you are looking at on the screen itself. To continue watching, enjoy the video. Please do subscribe and like and share if you have not yet done so. And share with your friends and family so that everyone can enjoy this video and the future videos from now onwards. Thank you and have a great time. Bye-bye. So this is a small chapel. It's an Infant Jesus chapel. It's in Gorai. And the specialty about this chapel is it has a statue of Infant Jesus that's right in a pond. We then moved forward towards Gorai, where myself and my friend Ryan, we sat down and had a good chat after a long time. Spent a couple of minutes on Gorai. So this was a solo trip that I did to Igatpuri. It was raining heavily when I left home. The roads were slightly damp as I reached Igatpuri and went through the Kasara Ghats. It was a nice trip. Believe me, riding solo has a different kind of an enjoyment altogether. You have no timelines, you can just go wherever you want to go, stop wherever you want to stop. It's great fun. This is a waterfall in Igatpuri. It's very beautiful during the rains. Very nice place to have a one-day picnic as well. Now, this was my Lonavala trip to where I went for a weekend with my friend Brian. Did a small review of the hotel where we stayed in. The roads were good, the old highway is really good, as you can see. That's Brian. And this is at Tiger or Lion's Point, I think, Lion's Leap. This also was a trip during the monsoon, so the place was really beautiful. Now this was a Vasai Fort trip with Brian, Ryan, Neil and myself. Here are the four of us, Brian, Ryan, Neil and myself. So the early morning ride, I just decided I'll go and have a look at Palm Beach Road, as I've never been there and I really like the roads. Beautiful roads. Now this is the time lapse of the sunset at Gorai Beach. This was a trip with my family. A lot of us were there. And this is a trip on the next day. That was early in the morning. I went to see Dongri with Sherline, who is a very good rider as well. Here is a part of the family on Gorai Beach. Here is Wilson and Rakesh getting the horses, the carriage ready to take the children for a short ride. And this is another kind of a hill near Manori, which has a beautiful view. It's normally completely green during the monsoons. It's really very beautiful. This was another ride on Gorai Beach with Shoreline once again. This was a trip that I made, another solo trip to Pune. My family was already in Pune. They had gone by car and I went by bike. It's a time lapse of the road through Lonavala and then Pune. This is a pic from my friend's balcony in Pune, and this is another viewpoint, a small little hill next to their house, where we took a small pic of all the kids, all the nieces. And my brother-in-law Benoit, who was with us driving. This is in Kumar Resorts. Everyone wanted to have ice cream and my brother-in-law was getting late. Here are all the kids together. This is Kumar Resorts from outside. During Diwali, so they had lit the place up. The next day in the morning in Lonavala, I had gone to this place called Tungarli Lake. This is another very rare place that very few people know about, but it's really very beautiful. see the water is clear, it's very clean. Remember, this is a good place to visit, Tungarli Lake in Lonavala. Finally, back in our house in Lonavala, I took a small time lapse of the clouds from the terrace. Now remember, all the videos and pics I've taken throughout my journey from the very beginning until date. I have not used any professional video camera or camera. It's all from my cell phone only. This is the expressway at night from Lonavala, from Khandala Point basically. This was another trip with Ryan and Neil and his wife, and this is a place called Seawoods Flamingo Refuge in New Bombay. There were not many flying flamingos at this time, but at times there are a lot of them. Not a very beautiful place for a one-day picnic to visit. And Ryan's brother Neil was very kind to get his drone, or a new drone, along, so we could take a little some kind of drone footage that I have put in this video as well. These are close-ups of some of the birds. So that's the drone, Neil's drone. And this is the drone footage. Very clear, very beautiful. Complete 360 rotation of the drone. This is a complete vertical lift up of the drone where okay, so now this is another solo trip to Mahabaleshwar, one of the longest trips I did at that time. That was about 310 kilometers one way, and I've got a small video of the time lapse of the Ghats while getting down. That's traveling all the way from Mahabaleshwar to Poldapur. This is supposed to be one of the longest Ghats in Maharashtra.
I've got a feeling that I cannot explain. You want something different, but I don't want to change. Slowly but surely, began to fade. Things were finally changing, and I was not afraid. Now that you're gone, it's like I don't have to pretend. Yeah, it's time to move on. We've reached the bittersweet end.
On the way down from Mahabaleshwar to Koldapur, I came across a fort. I did not visit the fort, but I just stopped and took a small photograph of the entry to that fort. That's the Pratapgarh Fort. You can see it in the picture over here. That's the entrance. And right opposite that Pratapgarh Fort was a small little stream of water, like a kind of a waterfall. It must be very beautiful in the rains.
Slowly but surely, you began to fade. Things were finally changing, and I was not afraid.
So this entire trip, the solo trip to Mahabaleshwar, was a total of about 630 kilometers going and coming. Once again, it was on the Activa. Now this is another trip I took early in the morning, so it's dark right now, to Danu Beach. Another solo trip to Danu Beach.
We've reached the bittersweet end.
This is a road that cuts in from the highway that goes towards Danu. Pretty decent road, a lot of greenery. Now as we approach Danu Beach, we come to a small little roundabout that you'll see in this video. Now I took the right to go towards the Danu Beach, but if you take a left from that roundabout, you would reach the Danu Fort area, which is now no longer a fort because it's converted into the Danu prison or the jail. So this is the roundabout that I was just speaking about. Now Danu Beach is one beautiful beach, has a lot of pine trees where you will very rarely find on other beaches in India, and a lot of coconut trees as well. So I continued on this road from Danu Beach to Daman. It's a coastal road, a beautiful ride. Once again, not many know about this road. You can see all the pine trees on the left hand side as I was riding along. When I'm riding, the videos have a little jerkiness or vibration because my phone is actually attached to my helmet in order to take these videos. So this road goes straight towards Daman. It's a long ride, and you have to go through a few villages and bridges, but it's a beautiful road to ride along. just to mention, this was the only trip wherein I actually crossed the Maharashtra border, because once you cross Danu beach and go towards Daman, you're crossing the Maharashtra border and you go into Gujarat. And I started to realize that because I saw most of the vehicles had a Gujarat, a GJ number plate. So this is a small village that I went through when I was riding towards Daman, back on the road, on the coastal road. Over here we can't see the beach because there are a lot of trees on the left hand side. So here we are already in Gujarat. As you can see, right ahead is Vapi and then Daman. Now I don't have any footage of Daman as I was not carrying my power bank along and the phone switched off. So I will be doing a trip to Daman in the future and covering up the Daman beaches as well. This was another trip to the Tarapur Atomic Power Center. Actually, I had gone to Boisar, but I visited this Tarapur fort as well. Then I rode down back to Danu, took some kind of videos of Danu beach. It's a beautiful beach, very quiet and clean, as you can see over here, and a lot of pine trees and coconut trees. Beautiful spot for a one-day picnic once again. Now from Danu, this is another coastal ride back to Chinchani, that's in Boisar. Chinchani beach is another beach that is very similar to our Juhu beach in Mumbai. You can see all the fish drying on both sides of the road. This is a beautiful coastal ride from Danu to Chinchani beach. So finally we are back approaching Chinchani beach. This was another solo trip to Boisar as well. So a lot of internal roads going towards the beach, and I was a little confused at this point whether I should take a left or a right over here. So I turned around and asked some girls on the road, and they told me to go that side. This is Chinchani beach. Pretty clean. There were little papers on the beach because of the food that is being sold. Good time to spend the evening. This is the only place that you can visit in Boisar besides the fort. So all the food stalls. It's like partially like Juhu beach. So finally from Boisar, the next day early morning, I decided to go through the forest, through the mountains to a place called Jawahar. It's a hill station, and the road leads right down to Nasik. So while we go through Jawahar, there was one place I wanted to visit that is called the Adivasi Palace. So this is still the road towards the Adivasi Palace in Jawahar. This is just near Vikramgarh, it's before Jawahar. There's some beautiful sceneries of the road on both sides. I just stopped to take a small video. The road in Jawahar is a beautiful road, not one pothole. You can just ride without looking at the road. It's really beautiful. Finally, I reached the Jawahar Palace. So photos were not allowed, but I quietly took a few pics. This is a kind of a castle outside the palace. And I could not take much of the palace over here because it was already late in the evening and I had to return back. I was heading towards Nasik. Here's the palace. It's massive, it's really very big. Finally on my road back, trying to get to Nasik in the evening. Now this trip actually ended over here because I came across a small accident on this road, and I will continue shortly with my next trip. So here's where I actually completed 8,000 kilometers. By the time I reached back Mumbai, I turned back and went back to Mumbai. I did not go to Nasik. And I decided that within a week's time, I would do my next trip, even though I was badly hurt in the accident. That's the spirit of a rider. It's only through God's grace and help that I'm going through this journey of my rides and my trips. If it was not for God, I would not be doing this. So I keep God in mind each time I sit on my bike and I head out. And I think of God and ask Him for His help during every moment of my journeys. Thank you. So please like, subscribe, share, and continue watching my channel. You'll get some beautiful trips in the future. Thank you. Bye-bye.